Like this video and subscribe, or else you will stay in North Korea for a lifelong holiday. Unless you want that. What do you think of when you think North Korea? Maybe you think of the scary stories of what it has been like for people to live under a totalitarian dictatorship. Or maybe you're reminded of Team America World Police. Regardless, it's fair to say North Korea has quite the reputation as a country not to be messed with, wanting to present itself as a great superpower, even if it might not be the case. This can be the only explanation for one of the most bizarre buildings ever constructed, Ryugyong Hotel. Without further ado, let's explore North Korea's Hotel of Doom and why it's worth $750 million. North-South Divide. We know what you're probably thinking when you saw this title. Why the hell is it the Hotel of Doom? Is it not a hotel but a secret lair for a league of supervillains? Not quite, but if you want to find out, you'll have to stick around to the end of the video. After the end of the Korean War in 1953, Korea was divided into two. The Communist North, supported by Soviet Russia, and the Capitalist South, supported by the Western powers, especially the USA. Think of it like a divorce, only your mom and dad aren't people but countries. At first, the North and South had similar economic hardships as one another, but in 1986, a South Korean contracting company, the Sangyong Group, was hired to build the Westin Stamford Hotel in Singapore. This just happened to be the tallest hotel in the world at the time and gave South Korea a much-needed push towards them becoming a properly capitalist society. Kim Il-sung was clearly very annoyed that his southern neighbors were showing off as much as they were. So it was his idea in 1987 to begin construction on a new hotel in the heart of Pyongyang, the North Korean capital, that would attract people from all over the world to visit. Kim Il-sung was so optimistic that he hoped he could raise $230 million in foreign investment into the hotel. That's just over 4 times as much as David Copperfield paid to buy the island of Musha Kai. This new hotel would have a more relaxed attitude than the rest of North Korea, with plans to include restaurants, casinos, Japanese lounges, and even nightclubs. Think of the Palms Casino Resort in Las Vegas, but, in a dictatorship. Most importantly for Kim Il-sung, this new extravagant hotel would coincide with the 1989 World Festival of Youth and Students, a communist answer to the 1988 Summer Olympics, which just happened to be hosted by, you guessed it, South Korea. Talk about a sibling rivalry. Initial construction. In 1987, construction of the Ryugyong Hotel began. The North Korean government hoped to complete it by 1992, in time for Kim Il-sung's 80th birthday. Forget about a nice shirt or a shiny new bicycle. When you're the president of North Korea, you get a whole hotel for your birthday. Had the hotel been completed on time, it would have surpassed the 741-foot Westin Stamford Hotel as the tallest hotel in the world, reaching a staggering 1,080 feet. That's 20 feet taller than the Eiffel Tower. On top of that, it would have become the 7th tallest building in the world. The North Korean government were clearly wanting to make a big impression with the Ryugyong, but things didn't quite pan out the way they hoped. You see, since North Korea had become a country in 1953, they were having to rely on financial aid from the Russian government in order to help keep the economy afloat. In 1990 alone, $2.2 billion of North Korea's economy was funded just by the Soviets, which was 53% of all its foreign trade that year. But by 1991, the Berlin Wall came down, the Cold War was basically over, and the Soviet Union was abolished. Bye-bye communism. With a new democratic government in place, Russia was no longer so keen to send North Korea huge sums of money every year, and the North Koreans were dealt a heavy blow. What makes things worse was that until 1991, $750 million was dedicated to funding the Ryugyong Hotel, amounting to 2% of its entire GDP. That would be the same as if the US government today spent $96 billion on a new hotel in Washington, D.C. Clearly, the North Koreans needed to spend less on tourism and more on hiring a better accountant. So, with no more foreign aid coming in, and Kim realizing that maybe spending a significant amount of money from your already dwindling economy on a hotel no one was going to go to, construction on the Ryugyong stopped. Instead of being a luxurious hotspot of Asian tourism, the Ryugyong was just an empty concrete shell with no furnishings, elevators, or even windows. $750 million well spent, right? Doomed reputation. The Ryugyong cost $750 million because it was trying to be the tallest hotel in the world, and it was made out of solid concrete. You probably think the video will end there, right? Think again. This is only the beginning of the story. Stick around to the end of the video to find out what's happened to the Hotel of Doom in 2021. So, after 1992, the Ryugyong Hotel sat in the middle of Pyongyang, an empty husk. So little attention was paid to it in that time that a crane sat on top of the hotel for the next 16 years, gathering rust because they forgot to take it down and never bothered to do anything about it. As a matter of fact, the hotel was airbrushed out of official photos of North Korea because of the insecurity the government felt about having spent so much money on a hotel that doesn't even have windows. We'll admit it's not the best look for a country. This is why some people call it the Phantom Hotel, although that makes it sound less like a hotel and more like a haunted house. Following the USSR dissolving in 1991, North Korea had to become self-reliant in its agriculture and economy. Sadly, it wasn't capable of producing the necessary supplies to support its own people. Maybe if Kim Il-sung spent $750 million on 125 million Big Mac meals from McDonald's, he could have saved himself from embarrassment and fed his entire country as well. A terrible famine lasted from 1994 to 1998. And in that time, the Ryugyong turned from a symbol of North Korean prosperity to a symbol of North Korea's ridiculousness. Imagine living in North Korea in the mid-1990s with no food and no sign of things getting better. You'd like to think at least you could enjoy a nice stay in a luxury hotel. Too bad it won't be opening anytime soon. From the 2000s to today. In 2008, an Egyptian company called the Orascom Group made a $400 million deal with North Korea to create its first 3G cellular network. Better late to the cell phone game than never. As part of the deal, Orascom agreed to help finish constructing the Ryugyong. Now the hotel was due to be finished by 2012, both the centenary of Kim Il-sung's birthday and 20 years since it was abandoned as a lost cause. By 2009, Orascom had furnished the hotel with glass windows and panels all across the outside, turning its ugly concrete exterior into a sleek modern skyscraper. Of course, there were still no hotel rooms, casinos, or nightclubs inside. Clearly, they were taking baby steps. Kim Jong-un died in 2011, just as Orascom finished its work. So, by 2012, the hotel was finished, and they all lived happily ever after, right? Nope. And maybe the least surprising twist ever, 2013 saw yet another hiatus on the Ryugyong's construction. In 2013, a German luxury hotel company called Kempinski was chosen to take control of the hotel once it opened. Kempinski runs 78 of the world's best hotels, such as the Hotel Adlon in Berlin and Hotel Corvinus in Budapest. So you'd think they could add some European pizzazz to the Ryugyong. However, when North Korea also decided to start letting off nuclear bombs in the same year, Kempinski suddenly got cold feet and backed out of the project. You can hardly blame them. North Korea has never been the country with the best PR in the world. But all hope hasn't been lost. In 2016, an Orascom representative went back to Pyongyang to visit the hotel, and it seemed like construction was back underway. By 2018, the Ryugyong had LED lights installed across its glass walls that could project videos all across Pyongyang. Think of it like Piccadilly Circus in London, only instead of commercials for Vogue and Coca-Cola, it's the North Korean flag. Not quite as tantalizing, is it? And as of 2021, well, not much has really changed. After investing so much money into what is officially the tallest unoccupied building in the world, it's hard to call the Ryugyong a luxury resort in the same way as the Palms in Las Vegas or the Plaza in New York. Usually, the rich and powerful like their hotels to have beds they can sleep in or kitchens that make them a nice breakfast buffet. But North Korea is anything if unpredictable. Given the economic hardships the country has faced, we highly doubt we'll be able to make a reservation at the Hotel of Doom anytime soon. Even if it has an opulent opening in the future and makes the Ritz look like a motel, we can't say people from across the world will be rushing to visit. At least the people of North Korea will have one place they can go to luxuriously relax. Would you ever want to visit it? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more of our content. And remember, you always have a choice. Choose luxury anytime.